All right, guys, welcome to 2025. This is our very first one on one with Latin International. Thank you for joining us. You will be seeing us more often as we approach new business owners to support small businesses. I am one of your hosts, RJ. We do have Max joining us. There, Max, two fingers up there. He still got some of he still got some of his boxing in there. We do have a special guest today.
Is that a boxing show?
You're going to get there eventually. So we do have a special guest with us today, and we do have some very important information that we want to share. As you know, with Latin International, we take pride in being able to communicate on just a level basis. We don't try to pretend that we're market media guys. We're keeping it real, and we look for people in the industry, in different industries, that are going to bring vital information to you guys. So today we have our guest. And you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. Genaro Reyes Jr., funeral director with Compassion Funeral Home.
And Genaro, so this is a new endeavor for you, correct?
It's a new business for me. I have been licensed for 23 years in the funeral industry. So the location itself is brand new, yes.
And we are here on the south side, and this is going to be a location you have here that you'll be housing out of, correct?
That is correct, yes. Both of our locations are on the south side. The very south is outside of 1604, right on 281. And this other location, we're a little more central. We're on Hutchins Place. Still on the south side, but on Hutchins Place.
So you do funeral arrangements from like the time they pass all the way to the burial and anything in between?
That is correct. Yeah, the funeral directing part is where it starts, really, when the death occurs. But of course, as a funeral business itself, we do the pre-arrangements. We go from the very beginning. We go from the from the planning of what the family would like to do with their loved one or the loved ones themselves. Just pre-planning
to avoid those barbecue plate sales and stuff that everybody does here in the south side.
And the barbecue plate sales, yes sir, yeah.
I heard this industry is, getting bigger and bigger. People are dying to come in here.
That is true. That is so true. Yes sir. That's definitely true. So yeah, it's definitely my part does start when the death occurs. I come in and take care of the loved one from the very beginning, just from telling the family, letting them know exactly what to expect. Listening to their wishes, and then just kind of putting everything together, coordinating, whether if it's going to be burial or cremation, if there's going to be viewing, no viewing.
Now, do you work with any cemetery, or do you have your own cemetery that you guys partner up with that they have to be buried there, or can you work with like a cemetery out of the city or north side?
Yes. So our license covers the whole state of Texas.
Okay.
So we can bury in any cemetery in Texas, as long as the family owns the property, or the rights, really, the rights to be buried.
So what I want to do is I want to backtrack, because funeral director and funeral home, unfortunately, we've all experienced it more than once in our families, right? So it's kind of a blanketed umbrella of what that business is. So let's go to your Compassion, starting your business. Why is it important, especially for poverty-stricken and low income, and in our culture, African American culture, to understand the value of pre-planning? What does it mean? We can make light a little bit, have a little fun, but like Fernando said, yeah, you see a lot of these barbecue places, because we all know, as they say, the two things guaranteed in life: taxes and death, right? But we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to plan for it. We don't want to see it. Talk a little bit about when a family comes in here, and you're just kind of like, you see that burden. Obviously, it's a very, very, stricken time, right? But there is a business side to it. There's a smart side to it. There's, as you said, the pre-planning side. How many times have you seen yourself and said, man, if this family would have come to me 2 years ago, or if we would have had something in place? Talk about that, because that's important for people to understand that it's not something we have to be afraid of. It's not taboo, and it is something we all should be thinking and planning. Give us some of your experiences of some family. You don't have to name the families, but what do you see that, at the end of the day when you leave, you're like, man, You know what I mean?
I
Share
understand, right? So that's a wonderful question. It's very complete within itself. The I like to express first of all about the funeral industry. It's really a beautiful industry because we cover everything from the really the compassion towards one another as humans. We cover the arts part, which is getting the loved one prepared for a viewing, and then dressing with their favorite outfit, placing them in the container that was selected, or shrouding them. I'm really the only location in this area that does green natural burials. So I use shrouding, wicker baskets, or biodegradable containers so we can return to earth naturally. Other than that, the business itself, it's the business part of it too, where it's for profit, and also the working the inside in the office, but as well on the outside, where we do the burials or where we're driving around to pick up the loved one or transporting to the cemetery. So it's really a complete industry where we get to do pretty much everything that I just mentioned. Now, as far as the plate sales, I have always admired the plate sales. I know it's cliche. It's just like it's become a norm. But the beauty about it is the family coming together
the unity.
on an urgent matter. They within 48 hours they put a whole ordeal together.
Raise a couple $1,000.
Raise a couple just like that on a couple of days, and the community just kind of comes together. So that's a beautiful thing, yes. But then they go back to just.
It doesn't ring a bell like, hey, you know what?
Yeah,
I should pre-plan mine.
like continue doing this for yourselves to continue everything else, and then they do a plate sale because they want to go to an expensive location where they have to come up with $6,000 to $16,000 just because they didn't prepare, because they didn't come together before, because they didn't make the decision to start making payments ahead of time. So yes, it's a beautiful thing, but within itself, it's like they will come together as a community. You mentioned, the different groups come together for a quinceañera. $16,000, $40,000 wedding.
Pura raza, sponsors everywhere.
The $25 sponsors. I love it. But yeah, for sure. So we come together for those events. But then we go back to just not planning, not paying for making payments, not getting insurance, and then just kind of like spending the money like we're not gonna die. And that's the only thing that's for sure that we're all headed that way.
Let me ask you this, and just so people watching can understand the importance. So when you're not planning and you're not prepared, and you walk into your place or you meet with someone, but it's a last minute thing. It's kind of like the demand. You're paying more now than you would if you would pre-planned and you were making payments and stuff like that. In essence, when we rush to do this, it hits us harder. Where if we just, like you said, if we plan it and put it out there. It's almost like you said, like a quince. Your daughter's going to turn 15. There's no about it, right? But 24 months, you're trying to do it all in 12 or 18 months, where you put $50 a week aside. By the time it comes, you're ready to have it. But talk about that, the stress and the burden, because yes, the plate sales, like you said, seeing everybody come together, it's a great thing. But I have another part that I want to ask about that. But talk about how you see these families come in with the strain because it's not pre-planned.
Right. So absolutely, that's also wonderful. And so we get both of them. We get those that come and said, here's mom's pre-arrangement. This is exactly what she wants, so we're gonna follow those wishes, and it goes smooth.
It's smooth, yeah.
Very smooth. It's like it's all pre-written down. We go exactly by that, and we just execute. And then there's the other family where they come in and they're like, we don't know what to do. It's like there's always a child that makes more than the other, and he's trying to hold the whole family.
Call the shots.
And of course, money talks. So
you gotta listen to them.
Hey, I'm paying, so I decide. And the other one was like, oh, well, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore because
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's like I took care of her. Yeah, but I'm paying. Yeah, but I was there with her, and it's
no
just
drama.
like, yeah. So it's like, it's not the time. It's not the time for
You're
it.
stuck in the middle.
I mean, it's just like, you know, we just try to, you know, just kind of keep it neutral for sure. But yeah, we're gonna get those scenarios as well, and that's why it's important. As an individual, it's my responsibility to write everything down, my wishes, and pay for it. That's my responsibility
So there won't
as an
be any
individual. Correct.
argument.
So that's where I want to lead to this next point. So when you see those two scenarios, the one thing again, let's be crystal clear: it's not taboo to plan and to talk about your death. We need to it's real. It's as real as can be, right? So the difference between a very heartbreaking, I mean, losing someone, we know what's going to happen, and you know it's going to hit you. We know that. It's normal. That's you know, a feeling that we should have, some sadness and stuff, right? But the difference between, you know how they say when someone passes and when we do the funerals, should be a celebration of their life. So the pre-planning, the ones that are that way, you get more of understanding. It's the services are about celebrating their life.
Correct.
The stress and the not planning and all that rasa and all that bickering, it's just a big sadness. It's a big gray cloud over it. Is that accurate, and is that important for our listeners to understand, our viewers to realize that when someone passes, we can take a deep breath and we can look at it and look back at their service as, you know, a celebration of life.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's hitting it right on the head. It's definitely a time to really mourn and remember the good times and all the love that you receive from that individual. And when you're, you know, dealing with financial stress, when you're dealing with a sibling that, you know, is never there, but he makes more or she makes more and they're paying for it, it just creates a resentment towards one another that, you know, it's not the time for it. It shouldn't be. So it's difficult as society, really, financially throughout. So as much as it may sound expensive, it's really inexpensive to make it in payments for a long term rather than just within 3 days.
You mentioned anywhere from 6,000 to 16,000. Is that what is an average?
Yeah, so
from
it's,
beginning to end. Well, average. What does it cost?
right, for a burial, you'll probably be looking around 8 to 12,000 for the funeral, and possibly 4 to 6 and up and beyond for the cemetery portion of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit of
So
thousands.
so it's about 16,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, that's why cremation became so popular, because
It's a lot cheaper.
it's cheaper, it's inexpensive. Even though people don't want it, they just like started to do it because it was the cheapest route. So due to religious beliefs, or it's just so impersonal, so fast, so just like cheap. It's just like, just get it done and get it over with. It's like, no, we go back to the
financial
celebration,
version.
you know. It's like, no, let's say goodbye properly, let's pay for it, let's make payments, and then we just kind of decide.
So speaking of celebration, I heard that you guys are gonna start doing some living.
The living
celebration of life,
funerals, living funerals. we're
Explain
gonna
that
call it.
to the
Yeah, so it's really that. It may be a little bit more catered towards the terminally ill individuals. So where instead of just kind of waiting until the death occurs, perhaps just kind of celebrate before. So
While they're
just
still
kind of
alive.
while still alive, just kind of gather. And just express. You'll always hear like the parents say, the mom is like, bring me flowers now,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
should bring me
now when I'm
flowers
dead,
when
you
I'm
know, I'm not
alive.
gonna be able to smell them or, you know, anymore. So it's basically giving that life, really, is just to kind of celebrate the that time while they're still here, where you can actually tell them I love you. I mean, we're just like so
That way you can see who's actually going to show up.
We're just right. We're just not used
If they
to
don't show up to your
saying
celebration of life, chances are they're not going
they're not gonna
to
show to the funeral.
for the funeral.
Oh yeah, pa qué, right? Like why do you even come now, right? So yeah, it's just kind of just giving another option for families.
So
to
let me
gather.
ask you now. Let's talk about you and opening up here on the south side. Obviously, there's a need for it. There's a few around here and stuff, but it's just something that is always important. But your desire to open here on the south side, to be in the heart of the community and stuff, it's not because hey, I just want to be another one of those businesses. It's more of you want to be able to educate. You want to be able to talk to the community. You want to give them an option of it not being, how do I say, a brand, a corporate kind of thing going in. You have, and
More personal.
Yeah, they run. You have the other, services out there, and we're not knocking them. They all run in there, but
Right.
sometimes it's nice to just have that one-on-one and that mom and pop feeling. Tell us about why it was important for you to create this, to open here.
So, the main thing I like to say, first of all, is that all funeral industry, all of the individuals within the industry, we're all caring people. We really are. We're service people. We love the families. We love the job. Sometimes, yes, it's hectic. Sometimes it just kind of, day and night answering phones, transporting, all that. It's a tough industry. But bottom line is like we all joined it because we're caring and loving people across the board. So just with that in mind, there is the family owned like in any industry, and there's the corporation. And there's a difference just like in any industry, absolutely. So I just wanted to do it really because I just wanted to show that as an individual, there's enough business to go around for everybody. And the focus is going to be on providing good service. Like I've heard before, it's like nobody's going to work at your business better than you. So then I decided to do that. I decided to open up to be able to provide good service and good prices too. Bueno, bonito y barato kind of thing, So it's like I like to get a good deal. I like to get good service, but I like to also save money and get a good deal. So I'm going to offer that to the public.
Well, that's the thing today. You have a lot of people, and I tell them as we go out in our marketing side of the business, oh, the economy's bad. The economy's tough, but it's not bad. In the restaurant industry, in the restaurant business, corporations and restaurants are opening up left and right. The reality is people are just selective of where they want to spend their money. They have to feel, if you have a coupon out there, you're a little bit different industry, but I'm just saying, if I tell myself, where am I going, I got to feel like I'm getting my money's worth, the value, because they're going to spend it anyway. They're going to go out and eat. We got to put gas. We're going to do your industry. We're going to have deaths in our family. We got to spend it. I just got to feel like if I'm going to spend $8,000, $9,000 and I get the same thing I would get for $16,000 coming to you, then it's man, especially at that time, that means so much to the family.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Absolutely.
Now, for the people out there watching that are kind of interested of what you do, does it require any type of degree, the schooling, or can somebody just say, hey, I want to do that and go apply somewhere?
Yeah. So if you want to be a licensed funeral director or embalmer, then yes. It's an associate's degree. San Antonio College has it here in town. And then you get a license through the state of Texas after completing the hours and an exam. But you can still work or volunteer at a funeral home. You can do either funeral attendance, you can do cemetery work, you can do sales.
Involvement?
No embalming, no. But
See, that's what you did the degree for.
Right, that's what the license is for, correct.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, that's kind of creepy. To me, it's like you're opening up a dead body. Have you ever had a twitch move or anything? What are you doing then?
So yeah,
just move Hollywood.
Right, so I've been at it for 23 years and nobody has really
moved.
returned or moved, really, right? And if they do, it just has to do with gravity, really. So just kind of that. But it could be looked as creepy. So yeah, it's definitely not for everybody.
Not for everybody,
No,
yeah.
for sure. But for those
Not
that
for
are
the faint
interested,
heart.
yeah, it's right.
But there, just like anything, there's a calling for it.
There's a-
There's
yeah,
people
there's a
that
demand
see it,
for
that
it.
need it, and there's a calling in this in the service. But let's bring it back to right now. If I call you, tell me what I'm gonna get. I mean, you kind of explained a little bit in there, but separate yourself from everybody else. From I decide, you know what, I want to start planning. I want to know more. You've got 23 years experience, you said, in this business. You've
Correct.
worked for other services. Now you've branched out. You've mentioned that beautiful and affordable are your two cornerstones of what you're building your foundation on.
Correct.
What else can I expect when I call and I come meet and see your team to walk in there? Tell me, why do I want to call you?
Okay. So first of all, I like to say once again that the funeral industry, we're really caring and loving people, all of us. And I want to thank all of you guys out there as well for doing that. Along with that, it's just kind of like within the size of the corporation, there comes the need to maybe get an answering service. Maybe there comes a need to get just random employees to go make the removal, to maybe
By removal, you mean once they
by
pass out the
picking up
house,
the
you
loved
bring it
one
back
once
to
the death
okay.
occurs, right? So that comes with it. It's just part of the size of the industry. You're gonna have to outsource, the answering, the transportation. You're gonna have to outsource a lot of the the specific of the industry. So when you call ahead, when you go and meet the staff, when you go to the facility, then you can be your own judge, just like anywhere else. Just go meet the staff, meet the place, and see what kind of service you get, and you'll be able to tell the difference, just like anywhere else. So then there's that. There's a family owned where if you call me, I will personally answer the phone, first of all. I will personally go and pick up the loved one from the house. If I need help, I would hire help and come with me. And as soon as I get there, it's not about, let me have and let me go. It's like I stop, I stay, and then I talk to the family. I get comfortable with them. I start asking questions so they can tell me exactly what kind of services they wish to have, what the budget is, and then we can tailor the service to their specific needs, wants, or financial situation. So I ask two basic questions. First of all, is burial or cremation? And the next one is viewing or no viewing. Those two questions alone are gonna give me exactly a good idea of what the service is gonna be like.
So, and the reason I want that to come out again, I want to make sure that people understand, especially, we're kicking off a new year and stuff. Again, this is not a dark industry. This is not an industry that we can't talk about and understand it as a business. So, basically, what I get from you and understanding is, again, you're bringing to the table quality over quantity, careness, the individual personal touch. As you said, we're not here to put shade on anybody in this industry. All the businesses out there, they serve and they get in there. I mean, I've never really, hardly ever seen anybody go put on blast. Oh, I had a bad experience at, a service. Again, it's more family driven if things don't go right, like you said. But calling you, compassion, you're gonna get that personal touch. You started this to be able to be personally involved. You started this to give some quality over quantity because, again, you have 3 or 4 or 5 different rooms and everyone's calling and going in here. At some point, like I said, you got to outsource and you don't know who you're outsourcing.
Correct.
You're going to keep that all. You're going to have your hands on all of that. That's what we want people to know, that that's what they're getting. They put a face to what they see, and when they call, this is who they're going to meet. This is who's going to be involved every step of the way. That's the difference.
Correct. And along with that is, as we progress and service a lot more of the community, it's gonna be really a community. We're gonna create that community that's gonna be based on the same principles of however you like to be treated is how you're gonna treat the others. So we're gonna build that community, and as we stay close with one another, the ones that are not wanting to progress with us, then of course they're gonna be jumping off ship on their own kind of thing. So we're just gonna try to continue and keep that community growing of just to kind of give the name the real meaning to what the service is.
So your hours are like doctor's hours, right? Because death comes at all times of the day. So it could be at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're out there removing the body.
That is correct. So yeah, it's a 24/7 for sure. And yeah, there comes a time to where we need to just kind of help each other out and just kind of give ourselves a little time to rest. But yeah, it's a 24/7
Doctor's
sure.
hours.
Something like that. Yeah.
So let people know, we're gonna, like with our next guest coming up, you work closely with them to get in here, and that's kind of what you do. Let people know, where can they find you? Facebook, Instagram, website, phone number. Give them the information that they can reach out to you. Like you said, we're here in Hutchins. Let people know where they can come to start the process, that we should not be afraid to start.
Okay, so yeah, definitely. Along with that is like, yeah, we are on the south side, but we can service all of Texas. We can service definitely San Antonio and surrounding. The license facility is on 281 South. The address is 20490 US Highway 281. The zip code is 78264. That's our license facility, and that's where really like the home office. We do have Compassion Chapel, which is at 339 West Hutchins Place, and the zip code is 78221. The number is 210-772-7074. My name is Genaro Reyes Jr. I'm the funeral director. Also wanted to
let us know about some of your staff. Who else would be working with you that we would see? Put a name to, who else would come into.
Okay, so we have definitely from the sales team, we have Patricia, we have Elena, we have Luz, and we have Brandy. We also have family working, so Lisa as well will be working with us, Alejandro. There's also Lorena, Jimena, Alejandra, blessed amongst women. Yeah, so I just want to express that really, because I believe that we're all here thanks to women. I mean we're just like, they are the creators of life. They just bring life into this world, and they really do things right. So we need to respect that a little bit more as men. We need to embrace that, give them their place, give them their really...
Give them their flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. So honor that for sure. So...
Well, that was important for me, for people to be able to know that you have a team. That, yes, you're just getting started and stuff, but you, like you said, you bring 23 years of experience. You understood the rush side of the business from the corporate side. You're bringing compassion. You're bringing, hands-on. You're also bringing a team with you that embodies everything that you stand for. And we did mention that, you're just opening up here on the south side, 2 locations. You have Central South and Deep South. So you are doing a grand opening. Tell us about that, how people can get more information, kind of start, get the feel for what this is, and not be afraid to, to open the dialogue, to try to see where we can get this rolling, so that we don't have to do those plate sales. We can still do them, but we can do them as for a community purpose,
Right.
not a necessity purpose.
That is correct.
Tell us about your grand opening.
So yes, we are licensed since October last year, but of course with 2025, that's bringing a lot of blessings to a lot of us, and 2025 is really looking really well. I hear it around the community. I hear it around the colleagues. So everybody's very excited about 2025, and so are we. So we decided to do a grand opening, and it's coming up this Saturday, the 11th. It's gonna be there on our 281 South location, and we really encourage folks to come out, make the phone call, ask the questions, set the appointment. No commitment whatsoever. Ask the questions. There's no wrong question. Just ask. We really try our best to make those wishes come true to the families. So we encourage that for sure. Grand opening Saturday the 11th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The weather's gonna be beautiful, I hear. It's gonna be in the 50s, so we're looking forward to it, right? Yeah, so we're looking forward to it. So come on out and support. We're really gonna cater to the smart shopper. It's not really the low income. It's not really anything like that. We're definitely gonna do our part to support that for sure. But it's not catered for that. It's really catered to the smart shopper, the one that, doesn't want to break the bank just to be at a name place or anything like that. So smart shoppers, welcome.
Excellent. All right,
Before
so we look
we
forward
let
to
him
that.
go, I'm gonna go off of when you said that you guys are very compassionate, and I can tell you guys firsthand that you do have a heart, compassion. Just last year when we had Motivation Ministry, you volunteered to help us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
With the gift wrapping, the
Yes,
toys,
that was
collecting all the
amazing.
toys with the bikes. So
Yeah.
I know firsthand
That's right.
that you do have a heart, compassion.
Yes.
You're not just saying.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, for sure, that's true.
Well, I hope he has a heart. If not,
Right?
And now he'd be
I've been
one
told
of
that I don't, so that's why.
He'd be one of your own customers. Let me tell you. But yeah, no, it's important. To me, it just means a lot that you see the value of being in the heart of the South Side. Obviously, going to cater citywide, but it's more of the doors are right here, right down the street for our people to be able to start, stop being afraid of the planning session, stop being afraid to talk about it, to incorporate it in our daily budget and the things that we do.
Yes.
And so you're just, a door knock away, so that's important. So
Yes,
that
please
means a lot.
ask the questions, make the commitment, and after you make a selection, just easy, inexpensive payments. So yeah, why not?
Excellent. We'll get back to you when we get ready to the close. We're going to bring in our next guest.
Okay.
That's going to kind of go hand in hand with what you do
Okay.
to work in there like that.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so that's the funeral part. The crucial part in there, as you met with Fernando, walking you through the steps and what you can expect, and we've all experienced it, and we're all going to continue to experience it. But now we're bringing in another part that is very important for us to discuss, and the resources that are here. So we are joined with our guest. Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Patricia Trujillo, and I am with Sensible Planning.
Okay, so again, if you can hear that the funeral planning, the planning stages, you work closely with, like with Fernando and stuff like that. I've seen that. Tell us your bread and butter. You've been doing this for a while. Tell us your experiences and the heartbreaks that you see out there. And you know why I say the heartbreaks.
Yes, I do. So this all started when my dad passed away in 2015. We were blessed. He had life insurance, but that was the extent of anything. At the time I was a stay-at-home mom, and I'm the oldest of four, so my mother always looked at me to know everything. We just celebrated my dad's birthday, his 70th birthday, on Monday.
Prayers with that.
Thank you. So the doctor had given us 6 months. No, the doctor given us 6 weeks. He lived 6 months. When he passed away, it was not fun. We were told we needed to get him out because he didn't have a morgue in the hospital that he was at, and it just didn't get pretty after that. The funeral home that we used, I didn't know funeral homes were open 24 hours. I really thought I was going to have to wait till 8 o'clock that next morning. And so it just got really not good at the hospital because that's what I thought. So it was a very long night. My baby sister had lost her father-in-law a few months before, so she called the family to find out what they did, and we used that funeral home. Being a stay-at-home mom, my outings were very limited, So I couldn't find the funeral home. It took me 30 minutes to find the funeral home. And this is where the pre-planning is important because it creates an argument when it's not ready. We fought over flowers. We fought over catering. We fought over everything. So we did his service, and that was in 2015. My aunt passed away in 2016. She had her funeral plan since I was in high school. And I remember when she retired, she came and told my mother, oh, I cashed in my life insurance, I cashed in my 401k, I paid for my funeral, my husband's funeral, we got our cemetery, she got everything, the headstone and everything. And I remember I was in high school and she told my mom, you need to do this too. You have 4 girls. What are they going to do if you die? And I told my mom, you're not going to die. You're going to live forever. Just get life insurance. I was in high school. I did. We don't want to think of losing our families, right? Or our parents especially. So my mother got life insurance. So when she passed away, I asked my cousin, I said, how did it go for your grandma? Because I grew up with my second cousins. And she says, what do you mean? I said, well, the funeral, how did it go? Like, this is what she told my mom. Did it happen like that? She goes, oh yeah, my grandma had everything picked. She goes, I did upgrade her casket because I wanted a nicer casket. There were some things that were not covered on the plan. And I go, but how much did you pay? That's what I want to know. How much did you pay? Oh, I think we paid like $2,000. I was like, what? So at that time, I was homeschooling my daughter, and one of the moms in our group, she had started working for a funeral home. And so she had been telling me, come work with me. And who wants to sell funerals, right? And so I was like, nah, it's kind of weird. And so, but having heard my cousin's experience, I turned around to my mom. I said, you want your funeral plan? You want to take care of it? I have someone who can help you. So I called up my friend, and my mom sat down, planned everything. She did it how she wanted it. And my mom was like, are you sure? I said, I do not want to fight with my sisters again. I just don't want to do that again. So she planned it, got it done. In 2018, she had a massive heart attack. Thankfully, I still have her, but having that peace of no. And so this is what I did. When I got called that she had her heart attack, you never know what's going to happen, right? So the first thing I did is I grabbed her folder with her funeral plan, just like you were saying. You show up, right? So I'm with one of my sisters, and I'm holding on to that folder for dear life. And I'm walking. We're going up in the elevator. We're walking into the hospital, and I'm like, she goes, "What's that?" I go, "This is Mom's funeral plan." Do you want her to die? No. But I can tell you right now, I'm already feeling orphaned. And I'm in my 40s. I'm feeling like an orphan. If something happens to her, I know I'm not going to be able to think. So I want to be able to tell the doctor, call them. And that way I don't have to worry about it. But thankfully, we still have my mother. So now my joke is I'm just waiting for her to die. Sorry, Mom.
I mean, sad but true. Eventually, we all gotta
but
go.
It's true,
Yeah.
But
but
the
you know,
thing is, like you mentioned, you have 2 parents, you love them
Yeah.
with all your heart, but now you got to see the difference.
Yes.
And when your mom goes, and like you said, it's a pun, a little joke, but it's because you know
Yes.
you get to experience the celebration of her life,
Yes.
and not the stress of how are we going to get this done.
Exactly. And it's not, I don't have to wonder, who am I going to call? What's going to happen? What comes next? That, she took care of it. And having that folder was just like my lifeline. You know, I love my mother. I don't want her to go. Right. And Genaro's getting ready to know her very well too. But you know, I know who I'm gonna call her, you know. So then, and that's when I started into funeral planning. And I still felt it was kind of morbid and creepy until I serviced my first family. And that's when I realized, okay, this is where I belong. Because having to sit in front of a funeral director and plan a funeral when you're not ready is hard enough already. And so my job at that time was to walk into the room while the funeral director was doing the paperwork and to offer my condolences on behalf of the funeral home. At the time, the funeral home would give a keepsake bookmark with the obituary of the loved one. But I would take it a step further. I would sit with them and ask them about their loved one. Well, what did they like to do? And next thing I know, I don't know how I did it. I just would always have them laughing. Oh, your dad liked fishing? Mine too. And did you go over here? Yeah. And next thing I know, they're laughing. They're remembering, you know. And that's when it hit me. This job is important. And I don't consider it a job. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, you know, if I can leave a family who is going through their worst day of their life and they can still smile and remember their loved one, that's where I did my job.
Well, I mean, the importance of what you do, as you said, you don't see it as work and you're trying to figure out how to describe it. What it is you're still an orphan. You're joining families.
Yes.
Every family that you service, you're becoming part of their family. You're an extension of their family. That's why it's not work, because you are getting to know their loved one. You're getting to know, and you're experiencing the grief with them, but you're transferring the grief to memories. And there's a big difference between, you know, being able to take grief and convert it to memories. It lightens it a little bit more, and you experience that. It comes through with how you talk about it. So let's talk about, I mean, we can beat this. It's like they say, you're beating a dead horse, you're taking a horse's water, can't make them drink. Planning. I mean, we're told this in all our lives. We talked about it with quinces, we talked about it with weddings, but we still don't. Getting with our audience and especially our culture, I mean, it's with everybody. Tell me a little bit about when you go out there and you do, you know, you offer your services, you set up your table. Tell me about the customers or your families that get it versus the ones that don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's important. We need to talk about it. We need to put it on the table because, like you said, your sister telling you, "Why do you want mom to die?" It's no, I don't want her to die, but I can't prevent it.
Yes.
But I can be ready.
Yeah.
Tell us, because sometimes it's, you know, as Juelita used to say, you're gonna hit us with that rolling pin over the head. We gotta know. I want, when people leave here today, I want them to understand. I want your phone to ring, whether it's your phone. I mean, hopefully, you know, we're doing it right and it's y'all's phone and not yours, because this has to be something that we talk about. There are too many damn plate sales. Coronado put a good spin on it and stuff, but it's still not what it should be.
Yes, and I agree. So I get people who they've experienced death. They've already had to go through funerals. And when they see us, they ask, what is it that you do? Okay, so what I do is we do funeral planning, we do life insurance, we do health insurance. What is it that you're looking for? Well, we had somebody pass away, and then they will go into their story. Whatever their situation is, and most often than not, they were not ready. There was no money. They had to borrow, they had to sell, they had to do plate sales. And now there's an argument because of the way things were done. I don't want that for my family. When do you want to sit down? I can show you what your options are. I said, because it's very simple. You pick your plan, you make your payments, and when the time comes, and we give them a planning guide. I walk them through the planning guide right there, why it's important to fill that out. And then I tell them, whenever I don't care what cell it is, if it's a pre-need or life insurance, I tell them, now you're my friend for the rest of your life. I said, so whenever anything happens, you can have your family call me. You can have them call me at any time. My phone stays on all the time. My only one time I couldn't help a family was in 2023. I had taken care of a preemie back in 2017, 2018. The mom passed away, but I was in the hospital. I couldn't help them. And my heart broke because I've serviced my family, my personal family, cousins. I've helped my cousins bury their spouses. I've helped my friends, and I'll be there in the funeral home. I tell them, if you want me to be there, I will be there. I don't go in and try to take the place of the funeral director because I'm not. I just go for moral support for the person.
So, what do you think the biggest obstacle for a family to get all this planning? Do you think it's education?
I do think it's education.
They're
They
not
don't
educated on
understand
how it works.
Yes,
or the
because
importance of it.
so I get a lot. Sometimes I get, if I buy it and I pay it off, it's like when you buy a car and it's paid off, it breaks. When I pay it off, it's gonna die. I'm gonna die. Well, I have to tell you, you're going to. I just don't know when.
Well,
I don't know that
pay
part.
off at least. Yeah.
But if you have your plan, at least your family don't have to worry about who to call. They don't have to worry about what did mom or dad want, because you already made that difficult choice. You know, so that's one thing, the superstition part. If I get it, I'm gonna die. Hate to break it to you, you're gonna die.
But at least if
Whether
get
you
off.
have it or not, you're gonna die. But if you have it, you made it easier for your family.
So when they get it and say they die in the middle of paying it off, then obviously they'll have to go back to the plate sales and whatever to raise the
It
remaining balance.
depends. There's options
Well,
on
there's
that
some
too.
that if you die in between it, it'll cover it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But that's also why I offer life insurance. So what I do is I show my families the benefit of having a pre-plan and having a life insurance policy. So if they have a plan that's not protected and they pass away while they're paying it, then they don't have to worry about making up the balance because now the life
The life
insurance comes and
insurance will
covers
cover
the difference. So it makes
Versus
it
having
easy.
just life insurance by itself, and there's only so much that life insurance covers, you're still in the hole.
Exactly.
But I think that's another thing that, you know, as Max was saying, that we want to make sure that understand that people to understand this isn't, you're not locked into this. You can pay it off. There's many that it's just a budget and a plan.
Yeah.
There's a set amount of what the package you're getting.
Yes.
You can pay it off. I've heard people that, well, no, I'm going to be paying this, you know, it's going to go and
Yeah.
come and go. And again, as Max said, it's the education part.
Yes.
You're dealing with the superstition part, and you're dealing with the invincible part. It's not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I get
When
people-
even though it's inevitable. It's
I
not.
get people who tell me, "Oh, I exercise every day." Oh, well, didn't you hear about that weightlifter that died? And if this was back in 2018, 2019, around there, there was a beautiful woman, popular weightlifter. She passed away, and she was healthy. She was fit. Why did she die? And I'm still here.
I think it's kind of scary, Patty, that, I mean, now you're YouTubing and all this stuff about who's healthy dying. You know, others are looking here, and you're like, I gotta have my cards ready. I gotta know what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know?
So what is like for the curious people watching the average monthly payment for something
The average monthly payment, they're looking anywhere, and it's really going to depend on their age.
on their age?
On
and
their age
package
and
that they
the
want?
package that they choose. So it can go anywhere between $50 up to $100.
So age is
Age
difference?
plays a
Well,
factor.
because of the
You're
size of
closer.
the casket, or
No,
No, you're closer to death.
because you're yes.
You're gonna have less time. Okay.
Yeah,
but
yes.
did you hear about that Barbado Young that died too? So it doesn't really matter the age.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
People
It's-
are dying
It's
young.
like with life
Yeah.
insurance. You know, it again. If you're 20, there's a good life expectancy for a male that you're gonna hit 80. So there's a 60-year
versus you're
chance.
70.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
You
gonna
might
have
die
10
tomorrow.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you're buying a $12,000, $15,000 package and you have 10 years to pay it versus 60 years, there's a big difference. And again, now let's talk about, you know, the thing we talk about is, you know, planning. So I'm sure it's hard enough getting people to realize they need to do it. But then family plans, you have those. Those are things that are important, you know, to be able to, you know, there's, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, yes, you know, anyone listening right now, well, shoot, let me talk to dad and let me go get dad and get him the plan. But it's something that we can start, as Max was saying, he's bringing up a good point that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Age is important, and we can start early.
Yes.
Talk about those opportunities that there are family plans. You can start locking in, you know, the plots and all kinds of things. Explain more.
So when I first started, I had gone to a training, and my manager brought us a copy of a pre-need that the woman purchased it in the 30s. So I was like, what? They did this back then? And he's like, yeah, and he showed it to us. Back then, I think her payments were like $9 a month, and it included everything from the casket to the police escorts, the flowers, everything.
She was still paying for it?
No, it was already paid for.
Oh, okay.
The daughter brought it in because, well, she was getting
She
ready
was
to
surprised at
pass.
how much the total was.
What she wanted to know if it was for real.
Right.
Oh, because
If it was still good, yeah,
Still
'cause
had it.
And $9 a month too.
Yeah, $9 a month. I mean, it was already paid for, but she was like, "Are we still gonna get it
Is
at
that
this
company
price?"
still in business?
Yeah, you know, is it still good? You know, it's like one of those things. Is it too good to be true?
Yeah.
You know, the funeral home still had to honor it.
Chances are that company is probably out of business, but still.
So
it's-
yeah, but the funeral still had to honor it. The funeral.
So how does a funeral home get paid then?
That's between them and the insurance company. I don't do that part. I just said it.
You just said it. I just said
I
it,
just
yeah.
say I protect my families. That's between them and the insurance
But I
company.
mean, the other part of that is,
Mhm.
you know, like something about with compassion and things like that is that it is a business, and
Mhm.
we'll get back with Bernard to get in there. We understand the funeral is a business,
Mhm.
but again, there has to be a step with compassion.
Yeah.
You know, to come in, and sometimes it's not far fetched to say that a funeral home, something like that, they might take the loss on it.
Yeah.
But it's more of the reputation of servicing a family and doing that and
Yes.
stuff. So again, but those aren't things that we got to worry about as long as we're in the planning stages
Yes.
and we're willing to accept that that's what we want to
Yes, yes. And it's just being prepared. Now, the benefit to having a pre-need is, and I always tell my families, I'm not trying to be morbid and I'm not trying to scare you, but you can protect your children or your grandchildren on here. So what you're paying, whatever the monthly premium is for yourself, you can protect your children at no extra cost.
Well, that's why I wanted to get to the family part of where we talk about the family plan, because right now it's realistic that, okay, if we are going to start talking about it, we're going to talk about me, my mom, my dad. Nobody ever wants to talk about their kids and their
Yes.
children, but it is something that needs to be there. You know, through Latin International, if you look at the magazine and stuff, I've joined a group that, you know, there's some, that I'm dealing with some single mothers that, you know, they all, not single mothers, but mothers that have lost their children.
Oh.
And there's a section in there that we go in there. And again, you know, we all hope, as Pranal said, you know, women, you give us life. There's this plan, there's this biblical plan of how life should be, and we should live to get, but unfortunately, it doesn't always turn out that way. And this part of the business, as much as we might say it's dark, it's superstitious, or it's morbid, it needs to be brought, especially to our culture.
Yes.
I can guarantee that you can go to the, you know, the Anglo culture, the white culture, and
They have it all.
it's all, you know, all
Yeah.
the way up to the dog and the cat.
Yes.
You
Yes,
know,
yes,
but
yes.
we don't see the value in our culture. We have the superstition, we have the invincibility. Let me tell you, when you first started to now, tell us about, are you seeing people getting it? You know, like, are they grasping? I don't mean literally, like, but are they
Yeah.
grasping that this needs? Have you seen an increase? Have you seen through education and these things? Is it working?
With the families that I come in contact, yes. And I say that because, like, when we have our table, sometimes they'll stop and they'll listen, and they'll be like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea," and they'll walk away. But it's those people who have already gone through it, who
They
have
don't wanna go
already.
through it again.
I'm a perfect example of that. I don't want to go through it again. I don't want my kids to go through it again. I don't want them to be in my shoes. So I'm taken care of, you know. And I just, the ones that have gone through it, the ones that have had to do the plate sales, the ones that have had to ask for money, take out credit cards, take out loans, they're the ones that get it. Because talking to someone, and I can say this for myself, talking to someone who has not gone through a death, who has not experienced a death, it's hard to explain to them the necessity for it.
Now, let's just talk about that real quick. So there is nobody out there that really has not gone through death, experienced a death. But when you say gone through an experience, you're talking about the financial burden of it.
Yes.
Putting
Talking
it
about
together.
immediate family.
Exactly.
Where you're
Yes.
responsible.
Yes.
Having to make the decisions.
Yes.
You
yes,
know,
yes.
we've all been to funerals. There's
Yeah.
nobody that's invincible to it. But when it's on your plate,
Yes.
you know, and you're in that circle that the decisions have to be
Yes.
made, and that's what you're saying. When
That's
you
the
say,
part I'm talking about.
Yes,
Yes.
and we want to make clear that until that actually hits you. So let's just, you know, quick, we'll bring Bernardo back in and talk about the partnership and
Yeah.
stuff.
We got a question from an audience member. Yes, we're recording in front of a live studio audience. So they're asking what's covered and what's non-guaranteed.
So on a funeral plan, what's covered are the basic services of the funeral director and staff, the embalming, the transportation from wherever they pass away within 25 miles, the hearse to pick them up from where they pass, and then to take them either to the crematory or the gravesite. The service, I should know this because I'm the trainer.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Let me interject
Yeah.
here. And I'm glad they asked that. But the reason I don't like to take a lot of questions here is because my job is to make your phone ring.
Okay.
My job is to create that.
To give them that
If
information.
you
Okay.
answer too much information out there,
Mhm.
they're going to shop around, they're going to
Yeah.
bounce around. My job is to make your phone ring. My job is
Yeah.
to get them. And what I want is the importance of why we need to plan, why we need to talk about it, why we need to put this in our everyday budget, why it's okay to do it. It means so much. And like I said, from when you started to now, can you give me a concept, an idea of the percentage? Is it going up? Are we hitting home, or what do we need to do? Again, and make sure you people understand that Max and I take pride in saying this. This is just her opinion. We're going to ask you, tell us. We are opinionated. Latin International 210 Sports, we just bring to the table what we see as our opinion. You can debate it. You can call it right, wrong. So in what you see, you're in here in the planning. Tell us, what do we need to get people to get it?
I would say it's still 50-50. I get the ones that get it and the ones that don't want to. And then there's some that, I know I need to because I just had to go and take out a loan on my mom's house, or I had to sell my mom's house, or whatever it is that they had to do, but I'm not ready. And I can say that because I helped a family member have to bury his wife. And I tried to we started his plan. He didn't even make it to the first payment. Right away, he stopped it. Because if I make that payment, I'm going to die. He passed away.
And that's why I say that, with understanding this group, with Ronaldo coming here, understanding you're teaming up, y'all working together, putting it on the south side. To me, this is very, my passion driven on. Even if you say it's 50-50, I know it's probably not that. That number needs to be higher.
It does need to be.
In our community, it needs to be higher.
Yeah.
Let's, before we bring Ronaldo back in so we can kind of talk about that little, the unity part, how you guys have put this package together to service A through Z. Tell us how people can find you, Patty.
So you can find me on Facebook under Sensible Planning. I do have an Instagram, and that's... I don't use it too much because I don't understand it. So it's mostly on Facebook under Sensible Planning. But you can call me on my cell phone. It's 726-224-4274. I keep my phone on all the time. For those of you who I've already serviced, you know this. Because anything can happen at any time. I do have an office. It's off of Highway 90 and South New Braunfels, 1818 South New Braunfels. I'm on the second floor in the only glass office that's there, so you can't miss me. And I can't miss you either. As soon as you get off the elevator, I'll see you. But then I'm also working with Genaro. And I am grateful, and I do feel truly blessed to have met him. I've met many, many wonderful funeral directors.
Well, let's go ahead and bring him in before we get in here as we get back into that part.
Hey friend.
Hey, friend.
Like I was saying, I've met many, many wonderful funeral directors, but he has such an open mind. I've always been told I don't stay in my lane. I don't, I'm that person that if it's a service for your loved one, and you need someone to help you with the flowers, I'll go carry the flowers. I'll take them to your house if you need me to. I'll do whatever it is if it's going to make your job easier or your life easier for that moment, because that's all I can offer you. Okay? I'm that person. I used to be told when I was in the funeral home, that's not your job. That's why we pay so and so and so and so. well, I'm not getting paid, so why are you getting mad? I'm giving you free labor, I'm doing it because I'm trying to take care of my family. And exactly, compassion. And so that's why for me being independent is so important. But being with Genaro so far, it's just been, he's open to ideas. He's open to just pretty much anything. We're going to be doing a lunch and learn on the 18th. And so for me, the lunch and learns are very important because that gives people the opportunity to come, hear the presentation, and ask whatever questions they want.
Well, it's also, again, I think the most important thing, Genaro, and you can help me in this, hopefully I'm on the right page here, is we got to normalize this.
Yes.
We have luncheons, we have mixers, we have meetings for business to business and different things like this. So there's no different. We're at a day and age where there's too many things that are happening with violence and all kinds of stuff out there that it's unfortunate that death is coming quicker and quicker than what it should. Mm-hmm. And we need to normalize this so that people just understand and feel comfortable doing it. In your business, Genaro, you know that you deal with, family plans, you deal with sales, you deal with that, the pre-plans. Why is it important that you have somebody like Patty, where you both, this is the underline of everything you do. That way you can see the team that you're going to be getting in. Tell us a little bit about this unity.
A lot about that unity is, it's really that community that I had mentioned before that you hear it more and more to where, just kind of like the energies are going to attract one another kind of thing. So along with the extension of the Compassion family is we have a green natural burial with the colleague Sunny and Christabel. So a natural burial is, because I know you had mentioned about the embalming, you don't have to be embalmed, you don't have to be. With the green natural burial, we can bring you back to a really the best way to recycle our body. So we have that extension with those lovely ladies at Countryside Memorial Park. Along with that extension in the Compassion family, we have the International Doula Life Movement organization. We have Anna, Alex, Aspen, and a ton other girls there that are death doulas. So you be getting that as well. A death doula, it's really an individual that helps line things up, just kind of like a preneed sales individual. But these ladies take it a little bit beyond and just kind of part of the group, and they just kind of help the families through that transitioning from life as well. So along with that, Patty has come in and with her expertise, just her heart and her dedication, it's just really become a great part of the team, part of the community itself. And we invite others if they want to join the movement as well and just kind of, be part of it. And they have, like-minded ideas and, expectations as well. We welcome them as well.
And I think that I like the word you use there, movement. And I think it's very important that we do address it, especially in the Hispanic community, the African American community, that it is a movement to start understanding, as Max mentioned, it's inevitable, it's going to happen, but can we have our services, or, and it's just simple as two questions. You want your service to be, a celebration of life, or you want it to be, how are we going to get through this? And it's just hectic. So it's safe to say, Genaro, that with you putting this together, between both of you and your other groups, listeners out there, reach out to you, because at this point, educating people is on the top of your list of making sure they understand where the compassion comes from. As Max mentioned with Patty, and she said that. So people call you, you talk to them, because I didn't know about that, the movement and stuff. So we want your phone to ring because you have a lot of information where they can choose. So it's not just a standard traditional of just this. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I know a lot of people use the word educating, but I like to say that I like to uneducate you.
Okay.
So it's really bringing it up to where it's you don't have to do what has always been done. It's like you can definitely learn a new way, and then just kind of unlearn all that embalming and metal caskets and concrete vaults and all of that. Is like you don't have to.
So you're presenting a wide variety of options that we did not know existed.
Yes, and they're actually old. I mean, for many,
but
many
nobody
years.
else presents
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Nobody gives you, like
That
you
is
said,
correct.
people want to just stay with, let's go through A through D, and we stop right there.
Yes.
And everyone forgets E through Z that adds,
That is correct.
and it fits everybody's budget.
Yes.
Because, S and T might be something a little different than the experience, but as you mentioned, you get to know the family, you get to talk to them, and you know what? You need to be down here in the lower part of the alphabet. This is going to make what you get.
Right.
And that's what we're going to get when we call you.
That is correct. That is correct. Yes.
Just real quick on the education part, it's for me. It's
On
why it's
education.
important. No, it's education. It's
Yeah,
it's why it's important. But yes, that's why I want to work with him, because I'm not just is it this or is it that. It's which one do you want?
You're in your case working with him before you were able to present this basket that was only this big.
Yes.
Now with him, you got a box.
Yes.
You got to carry
Yes.
this big old tote to go out there.
Exactly.
And it's neat. So me, as you can see, and hopefully maybe I need a plan, but I'm looking forward to these luncheons. Tell us. You said the 18th. Where is it going to be? How often are they going to be? Because let me tell you, especially in our community, you feed us, we're going to listen. We're going to give you some time.
Yes, I agree. That's why we do lunches, because where there's food, there's a Mexicano right there. So it's going to be on the 18th from 10 to 12. It'll be here at the chapel, Compassion Chapel here at 339
West
Hutchins Place. And it's going to be here. And we're going to be doing them twice a month.
Awesome.
So, and we might be adding a little extras in between, but yes, definitely twice a month.
Yes.
So be looking out for our events. Be looking out for our flyers on Facebook. And I do have a TikTok.
And let me tell you,
I forgot.
Facebook, the social media, you have one heck of a designer to put those flyers together.
Oh, I know.
I gotta figure how I can get her on board.
I don't know, but she's already on reserve. She's got 2 already that got
I
her.
know she's gonna be busy, but let me tell you, when I saw something she produced and sent it to me, I was like, man, I want to run for political office. I need something out
Man,
there.
she can get someone elected in, I'll tell you what.
That's a
Yeah.
great staff.
Yes.
Well, guys, I want to say thank you so much for your time. I think that this is something that is very important for our audience to be educated on, and uneducated, depending which
That's
the
right.
you have a
That's
right
right.
and left hand.
Yeah, there you go.
It's very important that guys here on the South Side, this dialogue is open now, and you have a door to come knock on, and it's something that share this. Just share it, and share it.
Yeah, I like to say that I usually say I'm a yes man. So we're going to figure it out. Just ask the question. We're going to find a way to go over, under, or around it. We're going to figure it out.
That is so awesome. So again, thank you so much for joining us with Latin International. We hope on the magazine side that there's some things that we can be helping you to get some things out there and stuff. So again, our very first one-on-one for 2025. I just thought it was important. It was presented to us the opportunity to, as you can see, I have a little passion about it too. We need to get out of our status quo, as he said, uneducated. This is something we should not be afraid to talk about, something we should not be afraid to plan, something we can sit at a table and eat a meal and discuss. So thank you for joining us, guys. We look forward to, being able to be, support in marketing or helping you guys any way we can.
We thank you for the
so much.
opportunity
Thank
as
you.
well.
Yes,
We
thank
appreciate
you.
it
All
very
right.
much. Guys, again, just keep an eye out. We don't have a scheduled showtime for Latin International One-on-One. As you know, that as we meet business owners and different people, we just pop in and out and we put on these shows. So again, you got their Facebook, phone numbers, and contacts. Watch this over, share it, put it out there. Again, until the next time, for Max and myself at Latin International, we say thank you for joining us.
Thank you.